Hello, sixth graders. Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful and blessed Easter. Today we will be learning about the Malankara Church until the 16th century in Lesson 19. St. Thomas the Apostle came to Kerala in 52 AD. The Christian community formed was known as the Malankara Church and as Thomas Christians. The period of early history of the Malankara Church is known as the Dark Period because of the lack of historical documents. Now let's talk about the Persian relationship. St. Thomas the Apostle is the father of both the Persian and Indian churches. In the 4th century, the Persian church entered into a strong relationship with the Indian church. Bishops gave spiritual leadership to the church in Kerala until the 7th century, and archdeacons managed the temporal affairs. The Malankara Christians used East Syrian liturgy. By the 16th century, the Malankara Church lost the formal relationship with the Persian Church. Some Christian families, under the leadership of Thomas of Cana, emigrated from Persia and settled down at Kodungalur after 4th century. The Canaanite Christians are the descendants of this Christian community. In 1498, Captain Vasco da Gama and the Portuguese came to India for trade. The Malankara Christians and Portuguese helped each other. The Portuguese entered into the relationship with the Malankara Church and participated in the sacraments. A lot of missionaries from Portugal came here to preach the gospel of Christ, the most important being Saint Francis Xavier. Saint Francis Xavier, a Jesuit priest, arrived in Goa in 1542 and went around many places in India and preached the gospel. He arrived in Travancore in 1544 and traveled along the seashores of Kerala. Afterward, he proclaimed the gospel in China and Japan. Francis Xavier died in 1552, and his body is still preserved in Goa. The Portuguese movements. The Portuguese tried to control the Malankara Church by force. They tried to enforce the Western practices and rites of worship. They also tried to introduce the Latin liturgy instead of the East Syrian liturgy. Now let's talk about the enforcement of the Padroado. The King of Portugal sent traders and missionaries to India. The Pope had granted jurisdiction to the Portuguese king over the mission countries. This is known under the name of Padroado. Padroado is a Portuguese word meaning tutelage. In the document, it is said that all land and sea discovered or to be discovered would be under the patronage of the Portuguese king. Thus, the new places in India and the churches of those places, and those that are going to be built in the future, came under the rule of the Portuguese Vicariate. On August 4, 1600, Padroado was formally enforced on the Malankara Church. It was Mar Jacob, the Persian bishop, who ruled when the Portuguese came to India and maintained a great friendship with the Portuguese. The Portuguese permitted Mar Jacob to celebrate Holy Qurbana on the Portuguese altars. The Christians in India also allowed the Portuguese to celebrate Holy Qurbana in the Malankara churches. There was a sacramental communion between the Malankara Christians and the Portuguese. Though the liturgical rites and practices were different, both groups considered they were members of the same church. There was an atmosphere of love and friendliness that existed. Mar Joseph, the Persian bishop, took charge after Mar Jacob and served 10 years in Kerala. There were many rifts between Mar Joseph and the Portuguese. Mar Abraham came to Malankara in 1588 after Mar Joseph did service to the church with the Angamali as center. There were many differences of opinion between Mar Abraham and the Portuguese. These rifts became strong, which led to the Synod of Diamper, the Cunan Cross Oath, and other events. The Church remembers that the works of faith of St. Thomas, the Apostle, are most blessed, and that the remembrance of that Father would remain till the end of the world.
The sky is adorned with the stars, the face of earth by vegetation, and the blessed Matoma by his precious deeds. The sky shall be without the stars, the earth shall be without the stars, the earth also shall be empty. Your image, Matoma, shall be eternal.
Let's try to bear witness to the faith in Jesus and to proclaim the same. Now here's your Bible verse to memorize for this week. How beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. Romans chapter 10, verse 15. Now let's review your questions for this lesson. Describe the Persian relationship with the Malankara Church. How did the Portuguese relate with the Malankara Church? Describe the missionary work of St. Francis Xavier. Prepare a note on the enforcement of Padroado. Well, sixth graders, that's all for Sunday school today. So don't forget to review your lesson as well as the questions and complete your activity. Have a wonderful week. God bless. Bye.